Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Puck Drop. I'm your host, Ryan Lally, joined with my co-host, Jordan Cooper, far side, and Jacob in the middle. Guys, we have a lot to break down. A tough week for the Devils.
Tough is an understatement, Ryan. I mean...
A drenching week in the water.
A drenching week in the water. I like that one.
So, okay, I have some synonyms here for tough. It was a hard week. It was a Heathley week. This is resilient. It was not a resilient week.
No, it was indigestible.
Yes, that is the perfect word for this week, the hockey this week. Indigestible.
Okay, Jacob, since we've been talking about how indigestible this week is, break it down. What happened? What happened this week?
Well, Devils just played bad hockey. Flat up played bad hockey. I mean, I thought they might have played their worst game of the season against the Sharks last Tuesday. They played okay. I didn't think they played a terrible game. They played a fine, okay game against the Wild, but not good, nearly good enough to be a team who's top 10 in the NHL. And they played against the Winnipeg Jets, a team that had been struggling coming into the game against them. We let up 8 goals. Can't do that.
Yeah, not to mention borderline hockey. I always think of the most goals a really bad team should never let up in a game. 7. They let up more than that.
Yeah.
Borderline of 8. You very rarely see more than 7 goals scored in a hockey game. We saw that.
And then
Well, 7 scored by one team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then to add insult to injury, you had that shootout loss to the Senators. Just to add insult to injury.
Yeah.
It was just a bad week all around.
And if the Devils are a team that is going to make the playoffs, or at least be competitive, be in the race, be a buyer of the deadline.
That's what we want from them. We want them to be in the race for as long as possible.
Yes. If they're going to be a team that is a buyer at the deadline, they have to be the teams like Senators. The Ottawa Senators are not good, and we lost to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it was in a shootout. We got the pity point, but it's still a loss.
Look, we've talked about this a lot before the show, and I want to just dive into it. How much of this should be blamed on head coach Lindy Ruff? Should Lindy Ruff be fired? If not, how hot is his seat? Well, we already know his seat is getting warmer. He's on the hot seat right now.
I gave an analogy to Jordan earlier, actually, that I really liked. So, NHL Insider, NHL Rumors Daily, he's a Twitter account. Twitter handle is very misleading, but he is very, very reputable source. He said Lindy Ruff's seat is getting warm. The analogy I came up with was his seat's getting warm. He thinks it's the seat warmer, but it's actually Tom Fitzgerald putting a little coal under his seat. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and back to what I was saying. In my opinion, Lindy Ruff should not be fired for this past week. He just shouldn't. Though his seat is getting warmer, it is time to consider if he is the right person moving forward. It is definitely not the time to make rash decisions, and you won't hear me say that often. I like making rash decisions, but it is not the time to make rash decisions with the head coaching spot. You have to consider your options. There are multiple options on the market. There is, of course, Elaine Nasruddin, who is the assistant coach. There's also, as Jacob pointed out to me a few days ago, John Tortorella, who's currently working at ESPN. Then the question,
I don't want to sign Tortorella.
I don't want Tortorella.
I want Elaine
either.
Nasruddin back in the hot seat.
I'm just giving examples of options.
What if for an option they did what they did last year? Send Ruff, or maybe it was a couple years ago, send Ruff the goodbye ticket, and then let Nasruddin coach for the time being, see how he does, as an interim.
It is not. I don't like that plan because it is not time to make rash decisions. They need to consider their options before they fire their head coach.
Oh no, I'm saying as an option to be considered, not as a let's do that. Do you think could they possibly be considering that? Because I think they are.
Well, we'll talk more about the Devils' upcoming week, obviously, when the time comes. But I think that the Ruff's, whether he should keep his job or not, Lindy Ruff that is, should be determined based on how they do this week.
I agree. Yes. But I don't think, even if they do bad this week, I don't think that Lindy Ruff should be fired after this week because I don't want to rush into a bad head coach.
Not only that,
would just be a bad idea.
Teams that release their coach on a short leash don't give the coaches as much leeway to make big decisions. So that's always a concern that a lot of teams don't have that I worry about.
You also have to think about this. The Lindy Ruff still has another year left on his contract. If the Devils fire him and he doesn't get more work, they have to pay off the rest of that contract.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think the Devils ownership.
But would that be a part of the cap?
No, it wouldn't be part of the cap, but it's still like a lot of money that Devils ownership probably doesn't want to pay. Like
Exactly.
you don't want to pay for a guy that you fired.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing you have to consider in this is you have to strike a balance between not acting rashly and acting quickly, because the coaching carousel is beginning to spin. The Canucks fired their head coach, so have the Flyers. It's getting to be that time of year where if you're not performing to your expectations, head coaches are getting fired.
Right.
So you need to act quickly, but also you don't want to make a rash decision. I'm taking a very neutral stance on this, but I'm not happy with Lindy Ruff right now. Let's just put it that way.
I
He's
am
overthinking
disappointed.
things.
I am disappointed, specifically because you guys all remember me saying we should keep Nazardine, and I didn't think Lindy Ruff was going to be successful. I'm a little disappointed because I thought that you guys were really going to prove me wrong. I really did, because I thought the Devils put a good team on the ice, and I thought Ruff was utilizing them properly, but he clearly wasn't. He clearly isn't.
I mean, at first I thought he
There's
was.
struggles in the organization that you can put on the coaching staff, no doubt about it.
I think one thing that he might be overemphasizing a little bit is the importance of a guy like Michael McLeod, which might be a controversial decision, might be a little controversial.
That is definitely a controversial.
Michael McLeod is fantastic at faceoffs. He's great at faceoffs. Now, is Michael McLeod a player that should be playing 15, 16 minutes a night?
No.
No. Speaking of Michael McLeod, though, he's a player that I thought actually had a decent week. A few Devils did have decent weeks. Who are you guys' player of the week, though?
All right, so I think we should go Jordan Jacob Ryan this time.
We can do that.
I usually start, so let's do a little reverse order. Start down.
Sure. I'm going to go with Tomas Tatar.
Okay.
He put up some numbers this week. He did not play bad at all. He didn't carry the offense, but he put up some numbers, drove the team to whatever he could. He did his best. That's all you could ask for in this kind of tough stretch. What have the Devils? The Devils in their last time, what are they, like 2-5 and 2-5?
Well, they were
and
0-3-1 this week.
Yeah, they were 0-3-1 this week. It's really all you could ask for in
Two
this.
wins in the last 10 is not
It's
good
really all you could ask for in this stretch to carry your own weight, and Tomas Tatar did that to excellence.
enough. Yeah, I'm actually going to pick Tomas Tatar as well. I mean, he had a goal against the Sharks. He had a goal against the Minnesota Wild.
He had a good game versus the Jets, I'll point out.
He had an assist against the Jets. Or did they also credit him with another goal?
I think they. I don't know.
I don't think they
No,
did,
they
but I
didn't.
think he played well, though.
Yes, he did. I mean, he didn't get a point against the Senators, but he still played very well. I think he had 75% Corsi IV percentage. His analytics all week were good. Tomas Tatar, after his really slow start, has picked it up greatly.
I agree.
He is my player of the week. He has been the Devils' most consistent forward, I think, over the past week or so.
So I'm going to agree with you on Tomas Tatar. I think that he's definitely one of the Devils that's been stepping up during the times of struggle. He has 12 points on the season, which is solid. He's one of those players that I really think is really just building past the struggles of the team, and he's succeeding in spite of the fact that the lines are no longer really connecting anymore. So I'm very much a fan of his production. I do think, though, that Jack Hughes will end up probably taking the spotlight very soon. I think that he's going to have a very good season.
We were all at the game together last night, and I think we all saw how good Jack Hughes was.
Hughes was
absolutely.
weaving.
Every time he was on the ice, something electric was. It doesn't matter if his line scored. Something electric was going to happen.
Somebody said, I don't recall if it was one of us, but I still think it's maybe something we should bring up, and I definitely disagree with it, but somebody said, and this is not my word, I'm quoting this, somebody said that he should be benched for a game, and we should see how they do.
No.
Do you recall that being said? I remember that being said.
I remember that being said.
I don't remember by who it was, but I 100% disagree with that statement.
I disagree as well. I mean, the mindset behind that, I guess, is you don't want your team offense to solely focus around Hughes when he's on the ice, but I don't think that's the case. I feel like I
don't even think he'll first line it. I think it might be Hischier.
I think Hughes will end up being the first line.
You really think so?
Yes.
Yeah,
Of course.
Captain Hischier? Oh, Hughes over Captain Hischier?
Yes,
Hishier's
of
been
course.
healthy.
Hughes is far more talented than
Okay,
Hischier.
I'm not questioning the talent. I'm questioning the experience, the role on the team. That's what I'm questioning.
Hischier has been very good.
Who would you
this
say is
year.
better face-offs wise? Because the
Nico.
Devils are not.
Nico.
Nico. So the Devils are not a very successful face-off team. We got
They've been better this year.
We've been getting better, but they're still
But
not
we
very
just talked
successful.
about this.
And I think that might be because of Nico.
We just talked about this, how Lindy Ruff places too much importance on the face-offs.
Face-offs are important. I'm not doubting the importance of face-offs. Am I saying that Lindy Ruff is putting too much importance in it? Yes, but face-offs are important, and Hischier wins face-offs. Think about who he's going to be on the first line with. I think maybe they keep Hischier on the first line, just my opinion, at least for now. Hughes, remember, he's come back from injury. You need a good center on both the first and second line.
Yeah, I think we're getting off on a tangent. I think we should
I don't
talk
think we're getting
about...
off on a tangent. I think we're having a civil and good conversation of good means.
We were talking about Player of the Week, but I think we should talk about some players who disappointed us recently, and
That would be most of the list.
it's a very long list.
Yeah. Can I start?
Yeah.
You guys are probably going to disagree with me, but PK Subban.
I disagree with you. I think he's been playing better recently. He's had some.
I think the
better
amount of money
numbers.
they're paying him is disgraceful to the way he's been playing.
Yes, and I talked about this yesterday with you. He is not overrated because he's playing fine for the role that he's in. He is overpaid. There's a difference between overrated and overpaid.
I agree. People I think fairly rate Subban. People know PK Subban. It's not very good anymore.
2 years ago, I think it was 2019, his first year on the Devils. He thought he was a top center in the top defenseman in the league. He was nowhere near it. He was nowhere near it.
He was on a downward decline then.
Yeah.
His decline has ended. He is at where he is probably going to be for a while now. Is PK Subban particularly great at anything anymore? Probably not.
I think his assets and his keys are very minimal.
He's been putting up points though this year.
I think he's replaceable.
No, he's definitely replaceable. And honestly, I think we need another. I think we need to replace him with a shutdown defenseman. We have plenty of puck-moving defensemen on this team. Replace him with a shutdown defenseman. Put that defenseman with Siegenthaler, and I think that Devils defense is fantastic.
Now,
I think. Should we move on to?
No, we need to point out one. I think
yes,
you want to.
I wanted to point out a player who's disappointed me. That's Mackenzie Blackwood.
Okay.
Overall, he's played well this season. Overall, but this past week, first of all, he didn't play fantastic yesterday against the Senators, and then he blew the shootout. He also came in cold against the Jets, and he still did. He performed poorly even by those standards.
I agree that he's underperforming. He's still a very solid goalkeeper.
Yes,
but he's not where the Devils want him to be right now, which is why I think we should move on.
He's underperforming.
Yes, I think we should move on to news.
Yep.
There's news. News is a thing. news is a thing that does happen in most medias, including sports, and including for the New Jersey Devils.
Okay, Jacob, we know the definition of news. What news do we got this week for the Devils, though, Jacob?
I know, I'm stalling because I'm trying to think of news. Not much happened this week, surprisingly. Besides for Jack Hughes coming back, Hughes played good. The usual performers were good. I mean, I don't think there was really any news to talk about for this week.
I mean, really, the news was how hot is Lindy Ruff's seat right now?
Yeah,
and
that's really it.
How fragile is his spot in the organization?
We covered
we
this.
already discussed
that. We discussed
That's
that.
news, though.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the upcoming schedule, or no? Should we break down? Should we break down the? Well, should we further break down?
Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
There was a little bit of news
pardon me.
that we can
we
talk
forgot.
about. Devils on tomorrow are playing their first game in their black jerseys. They're very controversial black jerseys.
Oh, no.
Lots of people didn't like them.
It was worth the stall. You remembered.
Yes, I did
Just in
remember.
time.
Lots of people didn't like them. I thought it was okay. Jordan very much didn't like them.
I very much did not like
I
them.
happened to fall in the middle.
My arc of how much I like them went from like this, up, down, and it's kind of like flattened out.
So
here.
anyway, since we need to, for the sake of moving on, go check out our YouTube channel to see our reactions. It was one of the previous episodes. I can't recall which one.
2 episodes ago.
Yeah, so you might have to do a little bit of digging, but I believe it was 2 episodes ago. So anyway, let's talk about the games prior to our next episode next Tuesday.
What do we got, Lowy?
Well, this is what we got coming up, because tomorrow night, the Devils are hosting the Flyers at 7 p.m. local Eastern Standard Time. Then on Friday at 7:30 p.m., they're hosting the Predators, 30 minutes after usual puck drop time. 7:30 p.m. on a Friday night. Hopefully it'll be electric at the Prudential Center. Then just a night later, they travel upstate. Excuse me, they don't travel upstate. They travel to the neighboring state of New York to take on the Islanders at Saturday, December 11th.
First ever game at
7:30
UBS Arena.
First ever game for the Devils at the new arena. And then that will bring us to next week, where they have a game on Tuesday against the Flyers again. So we'll
7
preview
days
that
from
one.
now.
Yeah, 7 days from now. So those are our 3 games coming up. Can I start off with my prediction?
Sure thing.
Folks, so I think the Devils are going to struggle this week. I think that they're really on a downward descent, and I think it all depends on how Tatar is able to rally the troops and Hischier. I think they are going to lose to the Islanders, and I think they're going to lose to the Flyers, and I predict a overtime loss to the Predators.
So 0-2
So
and 1?
0-2-1.
I think.
It's very similar to this week's record of 0-3-1.
Jordan, you wanna?
Yes, I will go. So, optimistic Jordan is gone this week. He went on vacation. The Devils killed his spirit. Pessimistic Jordan is here. I'm
Time
saying
to bring out PJ.
I'm saying the Devils. Yep, you know what? They're gonna go 0-2-1. I don't see the downward trend ending.
So you said yesterday you didn't want to spoil anything for the episode when we were driving in the car. You said we were going to agree on one thing. Was it that we were both going to agree on the 0-2-1 record?
No, I thought we were both gonna agree on Alain Nasreddine being an option.
Oh yes, we
head
agree with that
coach.
one. But I also agree with your 0-2-1
Well, yes,
prediction.
yes, we agree on that. We
Yes,
agree
and
on
I'm
that.
assuming you mean they're going to lose to the Predators. I mean, it's in overtime, right?
Yes.
I think
So-
that's their best chance.
so-
their best chance at a point this week.
I think,
Maybe the Flyers.
No, the Predators, no. The Islanders are on an 11-game losing streak.
Oh, yeah.
The Flyers are on a 9-game losing streak.
Islanders are 3 games from now.
Okay,
They have plenty of time to
but
snap
the
it.
Islanders and Flyers, in their past 20 games combined, have gone winless.
And we are not.
I think they're going to be. I'm not going to say which one. I think they will go 1-1-1, and they will beat one of those teams.
I'm going to say this right now. We are not in a position to be saying, oh, this team, they've lost a lot of games in a row.
Exactly.
Does that up our chances? Yes, but we are in the same exact boat, folks.
Yes,
So
we-
we are no longer that team in the middle going, we can beat the bad teams easily. No, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. We are of the same mind. I would say that the Devils would beat the Islanders and probably the Flyers too. But honestly, we're in a worse position than them right now.
Yeah.
So I don't see. and-
What are you talking about?
I mean,
we've
in the
lost
standings.
4 games in a row. They've lost 9 and 11.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we're not
Let's
in
not
a worse
compare
position, but
how
I don't see
bad
the
these teams are.
I don't see the downward trend for the Devils ending. I think they're going to lose it. It's a contest of teams in complete spirals. So, and I think the Devils lose that battle.
Okay.
All right, so I mean, this show has not been that long, but I think we pretty much have summed up our thoughts. Do you agree? Ryan?
Do you, by any chance, Jordan, since who are some more players that you think, since we have the time for it, that you really think have just not been performing?
Jonathan Bernier. I mean, he's been playing overall well this season, but
He had one really bad game.
he had one very bad game that damaged him.
Let me ask, Ty Smith opinions, gentlemen.
He has not been playing well this
Tyson has
season.
been bad.
Yeah.
You were very much looking forward to him.
Ty Smith,
I didn't really know what
Ty-
to
Ty
expect,
Smith
so I'm
has
not
been-
making that. I'm
Ty
not
Smith has
telling you
been
what I
so
think.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I came to the season expecting him to, improve on last season, like you would probably expect, but he's just been really not good. Oddly though, I thought he had one of his better games of the season last night. So I guess there's
That was a
there's
disappointing
improvement
loss.
That's true. He didn't play awful.
I think actually the past couple games he has played some of his better games this season.
Yeah, and just another player who's disappointed me, Yannick Kuokkanen. He's not been playing at all well.
No, Kuokkanen's been invisible out there.
And what's your opinion on the power play?
Power play is not
We didn't
good.
see it last night.
We didn't even get to see
We didn't
the
get to
power play
preview
last
it.
night. All right, so now that we've discussed some players that you're not thinking of thought.
It's
have
very
been playing
unfortunate
well.
that we've stooped to this level because just a couple weeks ago we were praising the team. So now we're talking about players that have disappointed us. so
Last
far.
week we were celebrating Hughes' return. We had
Yeah.
party hats and everything.
Anyway,
We brought this on
optimism turns to
ourselves.
pessimism, and I hope we can turn back to optimism after the 3 games this week. And we'll see you next Tuesday. As don't forget to watch all of our on-demand episodes on YouTube at Puck Drop LHS. The L and the H and the S are capitals, as well as the P and the D in Puck Drop. Spaces in between Puck Drop and LHS.
Very specific.
Yes, very specific. Post on Script, source on our Twitter is at LHS Puck Drop. Toodaloo.